Hi everyone, in this week's video I'm going to be talking about working in-house versus working for myself and discussing the pros and cons of working in an office environment versus working in a home office environment and the things I like most about working in the way that I do now. Unfortunately, pretty much all of this video is going to be filmed right here because it's basically been raining since I uploaded my last video a week ago. So for me, working freelance is something that I've wanted to do for quite a long time now, and about 5 years ago I did toy with the idea for a while when I was working in a different job. I actually went down to part-time in that job to kind of support a part-time freelance way of working. As it happened though, I then got offered a job as a studio manager in-house, and that's what I've done for the last 4 years. And the longer I did that job, the more and more I decided that working freelance was the best thing for me to do. So the main reasons why I decided to switch to a freelance / business owning way of working rather than working in-house were primarily designed around the lifestyle that I wanted to achieve for myself. Over the last few years, I've realized that it takes quite a lot of work to be happy, or at least it does for me. And happy in a sense that I'm contented with what I've got, and I don't mean in a materialistic way. I mean more in a satisfied with who I am and what I'm achieving kind of way. And the job I was doing, working in-house for a company, wasn't allowing me to fulfill those areas of my life. I didn't feel like I had the challenges that I was after. I didn't think I was learning as much as I wanted to, and I wasn't able to progress my actual job in the way that I wanted to in trying out new things. I think I've always thought of my old positions in a fairly entrepreneurial way. I've always tried to push them forwards and try to adapt them and innovate them. And I felt like I got to a point in my old job where I wasn't able to do this. And that's not because of the company or being restricted in the job I was doing. It's just I felt like at the time I'd taken that job as far as I could take it. So that was a big part of going freelance. It was so that I could take control of the work I was doing, so that I can put my own stamp on it a little bit more, and so that I can progress and learn and grow through my work. And the freelance / business ownership way of working really allows me to do that and suits what I want to achieve in my career. So that was kind of the main reason. There's then a lot of secondary reasons that were also key to the decision in the end. So I'm actually a firm believer in that the traditional 9 to 5 Monday to Friday doesn't work. It works for some people, it just doesn't work for me. I know that I work best first thing in the morning and maybe later in the afternoon into the evening. So I can, now that I'm freelance, schedule my work around those times of day, meaning that I actually get more done in less time. Now that doesn't necessarily make sense, but if I think back to when I worked in an office, I'd work really well in the morning, and then in the afternoon my kind of pace would slow down, my concentration would go. I don't think it's easy to concentrate fully. It was 8 hours a day, 5 days in a row. Some people can do it. I'm not one of those people. So by breaking it up a little bit, I can actually get more work done in less time. So that's a really big reason for it, and you just can't get that level of flexibility through working in-house for someone. Another reason is just working in an office environment in general. I'm not one for making small talk and getting involved in office politics, and there's a lot of other things that are part of office culture that I don't necessarily get along with, and that's not a criticism of that, that's just my personality and how I like to work. I don't like sitting through lots of meetings that I don't feel are completely necessary. I'm not a huge fan of the email culture and being CC'd into I don't know how many different emails that aren't relevant to what I'm actually trying to do, and just the kind of forced fun and everything else. It's just not me. I'd really struggle working in office. I actually find it exhausting, so being able to get away from that is a really big benefit to me. But in saying that, there are things that I miss about working in an office as well. The benefits, for one, are a huge part of it. So there's a pension, there's health cover, there's life cover, holidays, bank holidays. You get paid for bank holidays when you work as part of a company. Working at home now, a bank holiday is basically just a lost day if I don't work. And just the general safety of having a job and knowing how much you're getting paid month to month. It's hugely stressful already being a freelancer and not necessarily knowing what work I'm going to be doing next month or the month after. But that's something I'm going to have to get used to, because it's likely that that's going to be the case for as long as I do this. I don't know if it's something I'm ever going to get used to, but it's one of the sacrifices that I have to make to get the lifestyle that I actually want from this. Another benefit of working in an office is connection. Now, I've already said that I hated small talk in offices, and I'll stand by that completely. It was one of the worst things. I used to try and get to the kitchen before everyone else would get to work just to avoid it. But working for yourself at home, there is that limited connection. The only connection I generally have on a day-to-day basis is via text message with my friends or with my family. And although it's great being at home and being able to see my kids and my wife and stuff, it's extremely distracting. 2 days a week, my eldest son, who's 3, is at home, and they are my least 2 productive days of the week by far. But it's always great to stop in the middle of the day and play Lego for half an hour, so I can't complain too much. So whilst the potential isolation is a massive drawback, there's a huge number of benefits to working at home. There's, as I've said, the ability to create my own hours. I can go out when I want. I'm not tied to a particular structure of working. I can just work when it suits me. But you do have to be incredibly self-disciplined and self-motivated to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to get much done. And if you're not getting much done, no one's going to pay you. And that is something you've got to be mindful of all the time. And it was one of the main things I was worried about before I started freelancing, really. But it's quite interesting how quickly you can slip into being a very well disciplined person. However, when your friends are phoning you up and asking you to play golf on a Monday morning, temptation is very strong. So furthermore, I've got no commute anymore. My commute is downstairs and take a couple of right turns. I'm probably saving a fortune in coffee and in food, and there's also the various tax benefits you get as a freelance from working at home. Another benefit is, as a creative, you need to be sort of stimulated through different mediums, and I don't think working in an office environment is the best environment for creative stimulation. Whereas working at home and for myself, that freedom to do what I want to do and when I want to do it within reason is really stimulating creatively. So being able to take a break and watch something or read something or look at some photos or understand a bit more about how something's been filmed, I think all of those things combined really help creativity, and as does being in an environment that you're extremely comfortable in. I used to work in a studio with no windows. I had no idea whether it was light or dark. I didn't know what the weather was doing, and that lack of daylight and view of the outside world, which I'm really lucky to have now and have been able to incorporate in my office space, is more important than I thought it was going to be. I think that not having any daylight where I used to work had a bigger impact on me than I probably understood at the time. So obviously there are some further downsides to working for myself and working at home. I mean, I've touched on the no regular work, I've touched on the potential isolation, but distractions are something that I've really got to get used to. So at the moment my office space probably isn't as great as it looks on camera. Just let me show you the rest of my office. So I'm just going to film in the other direction and show you exactly what my view is when I'm sat at my desk and I turn right. Okay, so that is the playroom of a 3-year-old. Unfortunately as well, if I get up and show you, that's the doorway to the kitchen. And in probably one of our less wise moves, we didn't put a door on it because we thought it'd be great for our kids to be able to run in and out while we're cooking and whatever else, but now he just runs in and out with his Lego. So he's getting better, and I've got some noise cancelling headphones which are at the moment priceless, but I don't think this is going to be a long-term solution. Hopefully we'll be able to devise some sort of closed off office space within the house, or there's plenty of other solutions nearby. There's various co-working spaces both where I live and into Manchester as well, so as things progress I'll probably look at doing that a little bit more. But I think the negatives that I've pointed out are vastly outweighed by the positives, and I am so much happier working for myself and working at home than I have been over the past couple of years, and that's for a lot of the reasons I've mentioned, but I think the main ones, as I've said, are the fulfillment I'm getting from what I do at the moment, the flexibility in where and when I work, and just the fact that I'm a lot more comfortable in my surroundings, not just the physical surroundings, but everything else that came with it that I mentioned about working in an office that just didn't click with me and never has done, to be honest. So I think if you are a creative, then freelancing and working this way, as long as you can believe in yourself and motivate yourself to work as and when you should, then the benefits far outweigh anything else. So it's a bit of a rambly video this week, I think, really hampered by the fact that I can't get outside and film. Next week I'm going to Norfolk, so I'm hoping that I should get a chance to get out, do a bit of photography and a bit of video, and I'm hoping to create something a little bit different next week to me talking at a camera for 10-15 minutes or so. So please subscribe to be notified of that upload next week. And just wanted to also say thank you to everyone for the support for my first video that I uploaded last week. I was so surprised by the amount of views, the amount of people that commented, the amount of subscribers I got, and just the levels of messages I got from people that I know in real life, my friends and family and stuff, but also people I've never met before. And yeah, I just couldn't believe the feedback I got from it. So thank you very much to everyone that took the time to send me a message or comment on my video or subscribe. And over time, like I say, these videos will be a bit less rambly and I'll be able to actually get out into the field and do something a little bit more interesting. So thanks for watching anyway, and I'll see you next week. Bye.